Hi.
Hey, hey, how you doing?
Oh, give me a second. I lowered the volume earlier and forgot to put it back up. How are you?
I'm good. You can hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me well?
Perfect.
Awesome. I am glad. How are you doing this Friday?
I'm good. I'm good. I've taken a very chill Friday. I was helping a friend move yesterday, and I've been moving furniture around, even in my own place, kind of just redesigning my home studio.
Nice.
So today I just needed to rest. So it's been a very, very chill day
That's good. Restful days are so needed. I am bad at keeping up with those
today.
sometimes, but they're so needed and so important.
Yeah.
But we are here to talk about you and about all the awesome things you do. So I would just want to first just quick ask you, like, let us know, who are you? What do you do? Oh, that second. No, you're
Um,
good.
I just got some tea with myself, so I just needed to
That's
take a little
perfect.
sip before I get to talking so much.
That makes sense.
So my name is Lester Rey, as homies that are tuning in can see. Um, and I'm a Latin soul, R&B, hip hop artist. Um, I'm predominantly a singer. I produce as well. I produce a lot of my own music. I co-produce a lot with other producers around the globe. Um, and I'm also a percussionist. So my instrument of choice, usually that I bring on stage, is a conga.
Nice.
The congas.
Yes.
And they're one of my favorites. But I love timbales, bongo. Um, my strength though is percussion, so you won't really ever catch me with a guitar. But pianos, congas, timbales, drums. That's the musical world that I enjoy.
That's that's beautiful. You will never catch me with a guitar. I bought a guitar for quarantine. Like it was my project. That's what I was
Yeah,
going to do. Well, it is there. Just
same.
waiting.
I have a guitar in the corner of this room, and it's just been there for a while.
Yeah. It should it takes a lot of patience in yourself to learn an instrument.
Yeah, it's like especially when you're older, it's just learning music is great young. I was
Yeah.
able to learn so much music at the age of
That's amazing.
5 to 10, like between those years, or between those 5 years, I was in church, so I learned a lot of percussion because the church we went to just kind of had tambourines and maracas and all these like small percussive instruments that people would just play with. Um, but guitar, bass, violin, that was like another world that was more
Yeah.
intentional.
Okay.
You'd have to like go to school for violin, or it was
Yeah.
something that was a little bit different. My school didn't offer it either, so percussion was the skill that I really developed. But I'm not complaining. I really love it. I just bought a guitar to see what I could do with
Definitely. No, and percussion is so important and you can do so
it.
much with it. I recently finally started a band again, and the drummer
Oh,
is
nice.
like the most dedicated person, and it always makes me so happy.
Yeah, yeah. I always vibe out with the drummer. The drummer in my band is definitely like a best friend. He and like I think I even told him I was like I feel like our connection is almost like romantic on stage. It's just
That's
like
so beautiful.
way uh
Like so playful and just natural.
yeah, because improvisation is something that's very important to me in percussion
Yeah.
and music. And so in live performance, I will look at the drummer and I'm playing conga, so it's like there's just a lot of like call and response and back and forth between the drummer and myself. So when we're
Amazing.
doing freestyling or anything like that, it's just it's fun. It's really fun. But there's almost like a strong connection between the drummer and then the drummer's energy kind of just translates to the rest of the band.
Yeah, I agree. Even though they're the least seen most of the time at shows
Yeah,
and stuff, it's definitely if the drummer doesn't have that energy, I feel like it does not spread into the band. I agree with you.
yeah.
Um, and oh my god, I thought I was so prepared, and here I am.
Oh no, that's fine. I know that I didn't know what to expect either. I knew that I know Hope for Us Network is doing an amazing job of putting this all together, um, spreading awareness and just kind of creating this space for people to also just join us and spend time with us here. Um, so when they asked if I wanted to participate, I was down. I didn't know exactly
Yeah.
beyond performance and interview. I didn't know exactly the nature of the interview or um, exactly what the performance should look like, but I put together a pre-recorded few songs that I recorded with a friend, and yeah, and I'm just here for it. I'm just down to have a good Friday.
Yes, I mean, isn't that the best Friday though? Some music, some like chill conversation, and I feel like that is just the perfect Friday for me.
Yeah, I think let's see. I'm looking at the chat.
Oh,
There's the oh no. Can we play the
no.
first song? I mean,
Oh, that was
what, what,
what's it
that's the
called? The private chat with Dan.
that's the private chat. Oh my bad. Just right in the
That's
comment
okay.
section. Thanks for the follow.
We're just
Gotcha.
talking about how you
My
recorded some stuff
bad.
for us, and that is very exciting. I am very excited to listen. And I was checking out like your website and stuff, and you put a
Oh,
line that was like, Bad Bunny isn't the only one making good Latino music or something. And oh my god, that moment I was like, okay, I am very excited about
yeah,
this.
so I just remade my website. So thank
It's
you for
very
looking
pretty,
at it.
by the way. Go check it out, everyone. It's so pretty.
Yeah, I put some time and thought into it. And I'm normally not always building websites, so this was really fun. Um,
That's fun.
yeah, that line came from Remezcla. So Remezcla, um, Spanglish publication, national press outlet for culture, music, and anything like Latinx. I released a song called Santuario. I believe that's one of the songs that we'll be listening to today. Um, and they did a write up on the song Santuario. They released a press release for it, and one of the lines was, what was it? Bad Bunny's not the only Latinx artist crossing genres and genders, or something like that, or crossing borders with genres and gender. Um, and yeah, I was like, let me just add these press quotes on my website
Yes.
to get people like so they can get a taste of like the direction of music and the
I
realm that I'm
agree.
into.
I think it was a great line just to like exactly what you said, like summarize like kind of like what you're going to be encountering if you listen to your music. And that is such a good way to put that. I just thought it was so well put. It's so funny. It just made me too happy.
Yeah, the writer who wrote that, his name's Richard Villegas. He actually just published today on Rolling Stones top 20. What was it? Top 50? Yeah, I think like top 50 Latino or top 50 Spanish language and bilingual language albums. So he's a writer, and he just published a great article today on Rolling Stones, top 50 albums that are like Latino, Spanglish, Spanish albums. Um, if you ever want to check that out, I'm not on it. I didn't release any albums this year. I released an EP. I released a couple singles. Um, I'm working on an album for next year.
That is so awesome. And we're going to start hearing your music, and then we won't be able to wait of excitement for the music coming up. So we're going to listen to the first song that you played for us, and
All right,
I'm very excited to hear it.
that's good. Oh, Lester Rey, no dejes que tu mente se hunda Mejor vete, busca una sandunga. Estos sandungueos, estos chuqueteos, estos pa' tu cuerpo, mata pensamientos feos. Estos sandungueos, estos chuqueteos, estos pa' tu cuerpo, mata pensamientos feos. Desahógate en tu cuarto, desahógate en la tumba tu alma, tumba la cara larga. Desahógate en tu cuarto, desahógate en la disco tumba tu alma, tumba la cara larga. Bajuelos, en la oscuridad se ve la estrella completo. Mueve la cadera, mueve la to the floor, ese culo to the floor, ese culo to the floor. Yo soy un campo, no importa el crítico, solo suelta tu dolor. A ti no te importa ni un carajo, no te importa mi opinión, ni un carajo, no dejes que tu mente se hunda. Mejor vete, busca una sandunga. Estos sandungueos, estos chuqueteos, estos pa' tu cuerpo, mata pensamientos feos. Estos sandungueos, estos chuqueteos, estos pa' tu cuerpo, mata pensamientos feos. Pensamientos feos. Mata pensamientos feos. Mata pensamientos feos. Pensamientos feos. Hold on, I can't hear you.
Oh, I muted myself. I'm sorry. I heard some movement in my apartment. I was like, I should mute myself for this. Well, first of all, I love your hair. That was so fun. But also, that was so fun. I really enjoyed the rhythm. It's so fun. And
thank you.
I really enjoyed it. I hope everyone watching is enjoying. I see Ben is really enjoying this and already found you on Spotify.
Hey,
exciting. Yes. I was right on my way to do that as well, but I'll do it.
Yeah, I would say like definitely check out the songs on in your car. I feel like most people are looking at this on their phones or on laptops, speakers, and it's it's a different representation of the song. It's very like live. You can hear the ambience of the factory, and I think it's just a different experience to like encompass yourself in like in a car or with headphones.
Definitely.
And listen
just
to
don't know. I feel like in that car I'm gonna be trying to dance too much. Like
yeah,
I have to be like out loud in my room just to jam to it.
Yeah, Bluetooth speakers as well. It's a different vibe. Even live on stage, I do it with a band, so it's a completely different vibe when I'm playing this song with the band because it's not the beat anymore, like the produced beat. It's the drums, it's the congas, it's the bass player, the saxophone player adds their element to it. So it's a very different experience live too.
I can imagine. That is, it must be such a fun experience to go see you all live, honestly, just with the rhythm and everything.
Yeah, it's different. It's so I say Moon Doctor's the producer of this track. I went to Texas to make it with this producer named Moon Doctor. And the artist and I wanted to create something that was a bit more like what he's used to producing, what I'm used to producing. So I wanted to bring reggaeton elements into a modern, new like Chicago sound. And he's a really good footwork producer. So he makes juke footwork, and so this song specifically has like this It has this reggaeton dembow rhythm in the background, but the element in the front is it's very like Jersey club, which comes from footwork in Chicago. So it's just like if
It's
I
such
can
a
nerd out with the
good
production
mix.
all
Yeah.
day. I love nerding out with the production, especially like having percussion ideas and adding it to 808s and percussive drums. But lyrically, it's I wrote it during the pandemic, so it was like no deje que tu mente se hunda. So like, don't let your mind sink. You can have a party in your bedroom. You can go to the club, or you can bring the club to your room. That's kind of
Yep.
the idea and the message. It's a very danceable, like happy beat.
I'll definitely be bringing the party to my bedroom and dancing to it. My way to bring the party to my home through quarantine, we literally bought like a disco ball and like a ton of like lights, kind of just to make it seem like it was Charlie's inside of our home. Just the goal is Charlie's. That might be a not good reference for anyone not from Chicago.
Yeah, I'm looking at Ben. Do I have any upcoming shows by chance? Currently, this is the last broadcast or live performance of the year. I did a show at Promontory a couple weeks back. That was my last like physical show in the physical world, I guess. And I have plans for January and Valentine's. So I'm in the works of working something out. That's not announced yet. But definitely, if you follow me on Instagram, that's my primary like outlet and social media, platform that I use. Um, and that's probably most likely where I'm going to announce the next show. But there is no date. I'm still working that out.
Okay, we will have to follow you now. Now you have to follow because what else are you gonna do? You're not gonna know where the show is if you don't follow.
You could also go to lesterray.com and subscribe. That's also like
Do we get
as the
emails?
email.
Do we? Oh,
Yeah, I'll send out like a
fancy!
newsletter and all
And
that stuff.
Ben's already following. Ben's so excited.
Hey, yeah, I saw he's a
Ben just
drummer,
needs like
so
a
I feel like
Ben needs a
drummers they
drum
get it.
session. Definitely, just a little jam session. So with music, and I don't know if you relate to this, but I feel like I try to bring a lot of, my background and like where I grew up and what I came through or went through in my life in my music. And I just want to know like where where does the inspiration come from? Like where do you come from? Where does it make
Yeah.
sense? I'm not the best at making questions, which probably makes me not great at this job, but you know what? We are trying.
Nah, I was even interested at the name Caguamas y Dramas. I was like, where are the
Yes.
Caguamas?
Well,
Nah.
the caguamas are when I had a better stomach and I could drink. But
Yeah,
quarantine did a number on my stomach, and it's not it's not
yeah. I mean,
alcohol
everyone, but
friendly.
I do have my rum, but I'm probably not gonna touch that till nighttime, Friday night.
You know what?
um,
Chicago says it's nighttime. I look
oh yeah,
outside and I see
true,
nighttime.
true. It is very dark in Chicago right now.
Exactly.
So let's see some of my inspirations. I could talk specifically about some of like the artists I listen to. See, Ben has his vodka. I love this guy.
Cool,
Let's listen.
Ben. Ben
Um,
is the best. Yes.
yeah. So the music that I grew up listening to in the household was very much like salsa, merengue, um, all that tropical rhythms, música jíbara. So my nationality is Puerto Rican. Both my mom and my dad are both Puerto Rican, my ethnicity, I mean. And they took me to a Puerto Rican church in the city. It was Pentecostal, very wild, very energetic, a lot of energy in that church. So the music was really fast. Um, and people were like running and
That
music
is
would
one
just
thing I
blow
do
through it.
love about church. It's just the music. Like I remember going to like
Yeah.
growing up, I grew up super Christian. I remember going to church and being like, I don't really care about the word part, but oh my gosh, am I
Yeah.
entertained by the singing. They're also the best for your vocals. They're just so nice to sing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I learned almost everything. Um, excuse me. And but from there, that's like what my parents are listening to. That's what I'm listening to in the house. That's like Saturday morning when we're cleaning the house. That's like or church. As I'm developing my own identity, I'm looking at my older sisters. They're listening to Tupac. They're listening to Biggie. But they're also listening to a lot of freestyle and house and footwork in their Jeeps or in their car. So I'm starting to kind of get that music. I'm starting salsa and I got footwork and freestyle. For those who don't know, freestyle music isn't just like rapping, freestyling. It's like this, the song Diamond Girl, like that world of music.
No,
Um,
I don't. I need to do some research in this.
yeah, it's a whole style of music that was really popular in Miami. Who's the I can't believe I'm forgetting her name.
Oh my gosh. I know this. Oh gosh.
I forgot her
I'm so
name.
bad with names. If I remember mine, it's like a
If you
miracle.
got like the conga song. But anyways,
Yeah.
her world, Miami was big on freestyle, Chicago was big on freestyle in the 90s. So as I'm getting all this music inspiration, I'm developing my own identity. Very much I was stuck in the church
Gloria
box.
Stefan.
Gloria Stefan,
Sorry.
there you go.
Mike said Gloria Stefan, who is, I just watched her in a movie. Well, like she's in the voice in a movie that I'm obsessed with. And yes, thank you, Mike.
Hey, Gloria Stefan, yeah. So, yeah, what she's done is amazing for music. But
Yes.
yeah, so I'm getting older and I'm like listening to all these inspirations. I think that when I started to really define what Lester Rey, like the artist, the brand, the music, like more of what I want to tour on, what I want to sing about, I was kind of bringing in elements of like salsa again, more specifically boogaloo, and cha cha cha, and thinking about like Hector Lavoe, but to Joe Batan, to Eddie Palmieri, Tito Puente. So I started like looking at that music at the same time that I'm like also listening to Curtis Mayfield, who's also from Chicago, um, and like soul music is like a really big inspiration for me. And I think that's maybe because from church you go into soul, and it kind of stems from the same vein. But I could not ever turn off the radio, and so I had Ludacris and Daddy Yankee and all that music playing as I'm like
Take me back
2007,
to Gasolina,
2005.
please. Like
Yeah, yeah. So, and that was always going on, whether it was Chingy and Luda or Usher or it was Daddy Yankee, Don Omar, Rocky Meek and Y. Um, and that to me was modern. That to me was like the future of sound. So I wanted to
yeah.
grab elements of Curtis Mayfield and Hector Lavoe and add it to these like infectious rhythms. Paying homage to some of the stuff in the 90s. So like my production tends to be um, kind of a taste of a lot of elements. What I do with my voice very much can be inspired from reggaeton, which is a style of music, a style of singing called chanteo. So it's not rap and it's not singing, but it's
Mhm.
rap singing,
Yeah.
chantear.
That's interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't know it had a specific name, but it makes sense because it's such a specific type of
Yeah, so
performing,
jugueteo,
I
for
should say.
example, you're listening to a song jugueteo, it's like, mami, 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 vamos pa' suelo, en la gurita se ve la estrella, completo. Like, we're going like, it's not really singing, but
Yeah, and it's not rapping
there's not also
either.
this
Like,
like,
yeah,
yeah. Um,
it's like a
so
comfier rappier, like a just like a
yeah, it doesn't have to be that fast either. I did it really fast, but
yeah.
I could also be
Well,
more
yeah.
slow. But bringing chanteo and crooning to me kind of sound the same. So crooning, you'll have like diamond in the back, sunroof top. Da, 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 da. You have this like more like breaking voice, like soft
Okay.
spoken, and then chanteo is like ella lo dice, da, ba, da, ba, ba, da, but has more of a melody or rhythm.
So
I feel
okay.
like bringing those words together, whether in
Yeah.
Spanish or in English or Spanglish, it was again I'm like nerding out on like my
No,
process.
this is beautiful. I am right here for it. No, no, no.
It's just
This
fun.
is
It's
great.
fun. I started rapping and doing reggaeton at 18, but when I went to college and I took Latin jazz and Afro-Cuban ensemble, and I learned more about like more in depth about salsa stuff like that, and the way they even sang, like old school salseros will sing like they do this freestyling thing where they do call and response. So you'll have like todo tiene su final y todo tiene su final. Like they just but
Oh.
this style, these are the influences. I would say those are like the three big, like this crooning voice style that like Lauren Hill even takes on, Erica Badu, Neo Soul, reggaetons like chanteo, and then the salseros like call and response. I feel like those are like the three big inspirations for my voice. Music, yeah, beats. I love percussion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely very percussion heavy. And I like that because I feel like it's a hip mover, if that makes sense. Like I feel like when there's
Mhm.
percussion heavy or bass heavy songs, you just want to like move your hips a ton. And that's like
Yeah.
the only way I know how to dance. So
Well, recently I
works
released a song
perfectly.
called Corazón Partido, and I dropped it on Black Friday, November 26th. And that is a bolero. I produced it myself, very slow, but it still grabs some of the elements of crooning. Um, but the structure is based off of bossa nova, which is Brazilian, and then a bolero, which is originally Cuban at this point all over the world. So you can even do it with really slow music, which is really fun for me as well, especially during the winter seasons. I like just sitting on the piano and just a ver lo que sale, see what comes up.
Yeah. I like the um this goes back a bit, but earlier when you're talking about like growing up and that, like the Latino household and you're like
Yeah,
just listening to music. I had this moment the other day where somebody posted about gosh, what's his name? Oh, this is gonna happen again. And I don't think this one is as known, but he sings a song that goes like ¿Por qué no lleva café en el campo? And he's
yeah,
just I cannot remember his name, but he's so just talented and I truly love his music. And it just like brought me back to like just walking on the stairs or getting home and seeing my mom like cooking and dancing and moving. And I feel like a lot of the joy of music for me comes from that too. Just of like since I
yeah,
was young, like no matter what's happening, like music just brought so much light and so much joy into everything,
yeah,
even the food.
yeah. Even cleaning the whole house.
Exactly. Yeah. How many
Just brought
times did
joy
we
to
just
it.
like you? I have a Mexican playlist and I literally have it because it's the best. It's not just Mexican, but I have like mostly Mexican like music I grew up with and just
Yeah,
Latino music in general. And it's the best to clean to. There is no better, there's no better rhythm out there to clean to.
yeah. It's fun. I like. Let's see. Mike was like talking about how syncopation shakes the booty. Very very true. Like all that syncopation, like whether it's
Oh,
cumbia, whether it's salsa, whether it's house. Yeah, and then making music together. Yeah, the winter season is a great time to make music. You just
okay. First of all,
I'm
if
on
y'all
Instagram.
are making music together, I need to be included in this because I'm already here. So
Yeah, I'm always let's see. Yeah, our son's memories are deeply ingrained. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I went to the studio a couple of days ago and I was trying to just do something more in the rap lane as a feature. And I have this inclination that's like how Mike says, it's like deep ingrained. Um, Even when I'm just trying different lanes of music and trying different things, there's just these habits that are like deeply ingrained from either what you learn as a kid, or I tend to sing, or I tend to like do something in a certain direction that is very much a derivative of how I was raised. So whether it's church music or it's salsa or reggaeton, if I'm doing like pop or rap or R&B, I might still pull from my past, like those habits.
definitely. Definitely. It makes so much sense. I mean, I make music that kind of relates nothing to what I grew up with. I
Hmm.
I grew up really Christian, all these things, and I guess I was angry and I was like, rock that. I just and I just dived into like kind of like the rock side. But even there I feel like I always, well, now when I lived in Mexico it wasn't as much because I was living in Mexico, but I feel like now living in the US I'm like, what ways can I bring, that
Yeah,
authenticity of who I am, and who I am that isn't only, Marlo Chicago. Like who I am is Marlo that grew up in Mexico, Marlo that grew up in like those streets and stuff, and how that builds you is so important for what we write.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Mike again hits the nail on the head. Shaped by our environment and the songs being sung around us. Yeah,
Yeah.
100, 100.
And yeah, let's get AC involved too. I agree. And Ben, just bring it all in. Just everyone in the chat right now. We're going to make it.
Yeah, we got Ben's a drummer.
Yeah.
I
And then
wonder,
Mike
Mike,
plays
is he a
guitar, I think.
producer?
I think Mike plays guitar. I'm not. We need a big studio at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like scrolling back, and he just hit. He said, "My, I missed this Miami Sound Machine. That was the engine that made Gloria Estefan's music." And yeah,
Oh.
and Ben says, "If I
If
recall, Mike
Ben
plays
says
both."
Mike plays everything, and then I think AC plays a couple of instruments as well. So I'm the only one that knows how to play 0 instruments.
But you
I
sing,
only
right?
know how to sing. Yeah,
There you go.
that's the one thing.
That's an instrument. That's an instrument.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's
You can.
just sometimes I wish, I don't know. I wish I grew
James
up
Brown
instruments growing up, I guess.
basically made everything a drum, but I don't even know I ever saw a video of James Brown playing drums or anything like that. But James Brown was always singing. He was telling his band, "Hey, I want y'all to do "Puru-ta-pa-pa-doo-doo," and that's it." And then the band was like, "All right, we got it." So I mean, sometimes I talk to my band like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just easier. Like if they can play by ear already, why am I gonna take the time to write it down and be at home cracking my head over this when I can just call them and be
Go
like,
and
"Hey, I have
sing.
this rhythm in my mind. Is it F G whatever?" Or he's like, "Yeah," or "No, whatever." I just really appreciate musicians who can like communicate with
Yes.
me without me having to like learn their instrument. They can just hear me sing it
Understand
to
like the
them, and they just
vibe.
do it.
Yeah. I had this experience the other day. I was hanging out with my guitarist, and I was like, hey, let's just, write it. Let's try to like kind of really put a whole song together, as in just like the structure of it. And I just showed them like this idea I had, very small. It was maybe a verse and that's about it. And it was just the melody. And they just went with it. And they were just, it was like the moment I heard it, I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. How did you know? Like it was so beautiful. And sometimes it's just so nice to have that chemistry of just like, oh my gosh, it just worked.
Yeah, honestly, chemistry goes a long way for me. Sometimes it's developed. Like it's so I used to have a band. It was Lester Rey Los Leones, and it was nice because we all had chemistry and it was structured. And then that band, many of the people in the band developed their own bands. They would still play with me, but everybody got so busy and booked that I started to have to pull in new musicians into my band. And that was a very interesting time period, like in 2017, 2018, when it's not like I was trying out new musicians. They were amazing musicians, but it's the different, how do I put it? The different cast led to a different sound. So it might be the same
Definitely.
drummer for different songs, but a different bass player each time, or a different
Mhm.
guitar player, or a different, instead of saxophone, we try a trumpet, or we try trombone. Um, so it was a very interesting time because the music just sounded slightly different. The audience knew what to sing along to. They knew what song it was, but every single time it sounded slightly different. And I also realized that some people, I don't know, the chemistry thing was just very interesting. It's like there was always chemistry, but it's like was the vision still intact? That was like my biggest concern was is the vision
That's
I'm having fun. I'm definitely having
Yeah.
fun jamming with all these different versions of my band. But I needed to make sure, like, is the vision still? Is it lost now because we're just a jam band, or is it lost now because it's more salsa leaning as opposed to the indie
Yeah.
vibe that I was trying to produce? Um, so it's like, you have to try on. The shoes might look good, the shoes might fit, but maybe it doesn't fit the entire outfit, and it's not part of the vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it
That's
was,
so true. And a musician can be amazing. Like they can be extremely talented in the moment that you make,
yeah.
music together. It just, I mean, it can still click, like you said, and just be like, well, this isn't what I was looking for,
And
though.
it wasn't always like one person; it was the cast. So I didn't see it as like that bass player doesn't like fit my vision. It was more like
Okay.
that bass player with that guitar player and that conguero and
Oh,
this drummer makes something that's very different. But when that
that
bass
makes
player plays with
sense.
a different drummer and a different conguero, their energy vibes in a different way, and I like that better. So I have to go find another conguero or drummer. It wasn't maybe just the bass player. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah, that makes sense.
it was just the cast. It was very interesting.
That is such management skills right there. It just,
Yeah,
yeah, that
band
takes a lot.
management.
Like to be able
Yeah,
to like look at something objectively from like stand and be like, okay, which are the parts though? Like what is working, what isn't?
yeah. I never even thought about like yeah. It was basically band
Yeah, because that's,
management.
that's like moving parts, you're just like, okay, but which one? Which one? Like that's, yeah, it's
So I'm looking at
amazing. And
the
somebody's saying something good about your mustache, I believe. I think that's what's happening. It's a great
yeah.
mustache.
It's a side note.
Yeah. And great glasses.
Oh,
They're
thank you.
also great glasses. Of
These are
course.
these are my Tony Stark now Spider-Man glasses. No, this is a pandemic mustache. So, but nah. But basically, I grew up during the pandemic. You won't find this mustache in any photo or music video or
Before.
footage prior to the pandemic. I had no mustache. So, if you have seen Spider-Man, please do not spoil it on the
Don't spoil
conversation.
it. No, please do not. I bought tickets for Monday, and
Yeah.
then I came in contact with someone who tested positive with COVID, and I freaked out. Like, I'm not saying I wasn't sad about other things I might miss out on, or
Mhm.
the other potential risks of it. But
Yeah.
truly, in the top there was like, I'm not gonna be,
You're like, no, I
I'm not
gotta
gonna be
return my
able to go see
Spider-Man
it.
ticket.
I was like, damn it!
Dang.
Like I bought it was like $4 because I used like a discount thing, and now I won't be. It was
Oh,
sad. It was a
nice.
sad moment, but now it's a
Yeah, I
happy
have my
moment because
tickets
I tested
for.
negative.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yay!
So I have my tickets for Sunday. So I'm gonna go Sunday to see Spider-Man. That should
There
be
you go.
fun.
So once we hit Tuesday, we can all talk about it again.
For
Sunday
real,
you
for
go,
real.
Monday I go, then we can talk about it. Um, I have a movie theater close by, but they only play like two movies that are in like all the other movie theaters, but then only like all the other ones are like, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say, like German movies or from different countries and stuff like
What,
that,
like
which is
indie films?
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, indie films. Thank you. And it's cool. It's
Yeah.
interesting, but sometimes I'm like, wait, but what about the other ones? Can we have
Yeah.
both?
I feel that. Yeah. I was looking at I was like, I think I missed Marlo and Ray. I wanted to be in a band, but never had the confidence. I always wanted to be in a band, but never had the confidence. That's Lattelman.
Do it,
Um,
Ladamon. Do it.
Marlo and Ray.
Bands
Fun.
are beautiful. I truly like. It's so therapeutic and amazing to have a band. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have a band for like 5 years maybe,
It's
and
like finding best
there's
friends.
just it is because then you're gonna have to travel together. Like the amount of times I slept on the floor with these people, like the amount of times that we got lost in a random city or something like that. Like
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. There's a lot
it's
of
it's
there's like get yourself a band manager if you don't want the friendship to be like uh a manager employee type relationship. I
yeah,
think it takes some skill to be a band manager and a friend.
I agree.
I was able to do that, but it's tough. There's some times where
It's
you're just
yeah.
like, "Ooh, the drummer's drinking a little bit too much. Let me tell him to stop." because it's gonna affect our show.
Yeah.
But you don't want to tell your friends to stop drinking. Like they're having fun, they can handle their liquor, but they can't necessarily play the drums perfectly. So it's
Exactly.
like,
Like, I'll give you a beer back after you get off stage.
yeah, it's like little things like that. But I love bands. I've never stopped performing with bands. I'll do my performances like the ones today without a band, um, especially if they're like quick, smaller segments, 15-minute set, 20-minute set, or to be very frank and like let people even know, like in the music business side, if the budget just doesn't meet the requirements that I need for my entire bandmates to come out, I just don't bring out the entire band. I'll bring like a DJ and we'll do
Makes
the
sense.
tracks. But my preferred, can't say preferred. Sometimes it's my preferred method to have a band, but I
Yeah.
question it and I stop and I hesitate because when festivals bring those really big, loud speakers,
Yeah.
sometimes it's nice to hear Juqueteo, for example, but like bumping through those speakers. It like feels good. So I have
Yeah.
done tours where it's like I'll take a couple bandmates and we'll do like half acoustic instruments or like electric guitar,
Life.
congas, and
Mhm.
drums. But we'll have the DJs kind of like triggering some of the other synth parts for the song. That's how I
That's
tour.
really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun. It's like a small combination of both.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it probably makes traveling a little bit easier and stuff too,
It
but still
does. The
keeps the
first time,
integrity of like the music.
yeah, the first time I traveled, I learned that's not how I wanted to do it. It was like we all stuffed ourselves into a Buick. We had barely enough space for our instruments and our like bags or clothes. And then the next time I went on tour, I only took one friend who played guitar and DJ'd, and I played congas and sang at the same time. And that seemed to be the most cost effective and energy producing, but I missed having like something that was more free flowing on stage. So like in New York, I was touring with the one guitar player. In New York, I knew a friend who played trombone and he played a couple of woodwind instruments. So I hit him up. He comes through, and now it's three people on stage. Now it's me playing congas, singing, the guitar player playing guitar or bass lines and triggering tracks, and then it was the trombone player playing flute, clarinet for different tracks, and it just became a very interesting like sound because it's still true to the original track. Like
Yeah.
it's still the original stems, but now there's like new flavors on top of it, which was kind of cool.
That sounds that sounds really amazing. I'm really enjoying how you speak about kind of like the God, I don't even know how to say it. I don't think diversity is the right word for it, but I lose my words a lot. Just the amount of like different ways that you experiment with your music, even
Mm,
as it's already like not even like when you're writing, but even like in the different ways that you perform it through time. That is really beautiful, honestly.
yeah, honestly, I'm looking at Kigley, or Bobby, and then Bobby. Um, it's nice to have a music vision, like building off of what you also said. It's nice to have a music vision, but it's also okay to allow like super dope ass musicians to add their flavor to it. So like me hitting up the guy from New York, he's never played in my band, but I know he's studied at Oberlin. I know that he's heard my music. He's actually in one of my songs that like we recorded once. So he just sent the track over from New York. Um, so it was just nice to like, without any practice or rehearsal, at a New York, one of my first times performing in New York, I hit him up, and I just have this trust that he's not gonna take over the show, showboat, or just play awfully. To be honest, most of the musicians I work with, playing bad is not really the issue. They all play great, as long as you know where to find them and who to and how to pay them right,
Yeah,
and how
the
to take care of
important
your
thing.
musicians.
Musicians also need to eat.
Yeah, yeah. So as long as you take
Also,
care of
beer
your
doesn't buy
musicians,
itself.
like I trust, I just I just trust them. And if the vision is different, I trust that the
Yeah.
audience is still going to enjoy the show. And maybe later on, I'm just going to change the vision because it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but that's okay. And even if I used my stage to experiment a little, it's still okay because I know that my audience really enjoyed it. And that's at the end of
Yeah.
the day what kind of matters the most.
In that, like, that you're, you know, like, you're giving it, it's not only that you're experimenting, you know, but in the eyes of the people watching it, they're getting to see a different experience that other people will never experience because it was that one thing you were doing that day. And that is so awesome. Like, I was just talking to my band about that, about finding ways to, like, you know, make kind of different things in our performance from where we record to how we do it live and stuff. And it just gives it such fun, I don't know what the word is, but
Yeah, like diversity again.
I don't know words.
Yeah, no, but
Plus,
you're right.
I don't know, something nice.
And it gives you. I had a homie from college who's never really come to my shows, but he's heard my tracks. And then he came to one festival once and he heard me live with the band. And he's like, "Yo, this doesn't sound like anything that I've already heard in your tracks on Spotify. It sounds so different live, but I like it even a little bit more. I feel like you should record the live version and release the live version." So now it's like,
Yeah,
I haven't done that, but it's still like in my mind that it's another way that I can like produce music again, same
yeah,
songs, because with music it's interesting because there might be a song that you dropped last year that seems old to you, but it's gonna be brand new to somebody else. So
yeah.
if you can find new ways to just repackage it and put it back out again, it might be old to you, but it's still your vision, still your message, and it's gonna be brand new to somebody else. It's not like at this level, a lot of us are, you know, at the Grammys and having millions and millions of streams. You know, we're very indie, and I think there's nothing wrong with just repackaging a song, doing it acoustic, doing a band version, giving it to a DJ with the stems, and doing a house version, like just having fun with it.
And that is having fun with it. That's what it is, right? Like, it also opens up that, like, sharing vibe with, you know, other musicians, because then you can add other musicians to your mixes, you can make more collaborations. That's the word I was looking for. And that is so good because, again, you're giving it more flavors, more that, like, more, I keep saying the word diversity in a way that I am not trying to use the word diversity, but that's what we're doing. Let's check out the comments. It's getting a little full. If you would like to support, please support. No, wait, what is, I'm gonna skip. It sounds really flexible, very open mindset while staying in your fundamental vision. I agree.
Yeah, I think.
And then Ben said, oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead. I was just gonna say, before our time runs out, I know that I have another song I wanted to share with everyone.
Yes.
And I think, yeah,
Write a song. Oh gosh, this is so great. What is your mug? What kind of tea are you drinking? Oh, we're already here. Okay, there we go. Okay, the only bad thing I can say about this is that when I opened my eyes, I was not in Vallarta in mi bikini bailando, and that was very disappointing. But outside from that, that was amazing. And I agree with Ben. I don't think it's possible to stay still while listening to this at
Yeah,
all.
that's actually an example of a song that I released years ago, and I need to re-release it. It only exists on SoundCloud, and it's a
Oh,
DJ's.
SoundCloud.
Yeah, it only exists on SoundCloud. The song's called Pena. If anybody wants to look it up on SoundCloud, by Lester Rey, and Afro Cubano. And Afro Cubano is spelled Cubano, so all one
Okay.
word, Afro Cubano. Um, he's the producer of that track. I produced the original, which goes No vale la pena andar por andar. That's more cha 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 and slower. He grabbed it, made that housey vibe, like a tropical house vibe, and
You give me very, what was that? Oh God, you used that term earlier, and it's that very like beachy kind of music. But I can't remember what you said.
mm,
Ah, it always makes me think of like a just like a beach hotel, like you're at the restaurant having breakfast, and there's just like the most beautiful,
yeah,
comfortable, like soothing music around.
yeah. I mean, a lot of people really like that song. So I really want to
I'm one of
re-release
those.
it.
I think
And
everyone that listened to that agrees with me. Oh, there we go, Ben.
popular first song here. Oh
Look at
wow! I don't even know
Ben.
what that link is. I'm gonna have to check that link out later. I'm like, what
I'm
is
just
that?
hoping it doesn't randomly start playing, but
Yeah, I don't even know everything about SoundCloud, so I'm like, one second.
yeah, I bless
Excuse me.
you.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Um, before the video started, I know you're asking the tea. It's ginger.
Yes.
I woke up
It's the
this
ginger
morning.
season.
Yeah, exactly. I woke up this morning with needing tea. I was like, let me get some tea. And now I'm switching from tea. I finished it to water.
I brought
But
Sprite
yeah,
and
Ben,
water.
it is exactly that. Pena Afro Cubano remix. I asked him, since it's partially his arrangement, if I could re-release it with my band, so I wouldn't be using this exact
Of
version that
course.
he made. I would be reproducing the entire thing with my band, and he gave me the green light, and so I'm excited. I'm excited to
I
re-record this one.
I'm excited to hear it. And I feel that it's such a I had a song with a friend from my band long time ago, but we did it just ourselves, the guitarist and me.
Mhm.
And when I started this new music project, I was like, oh my gosh, this would actually go with the music I'm making now, because I used to do kind of like hardcore, a lot of like
Mhm.
just faster stuff, and I'm kind of doing a little bit more of an angsty thing now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And very Sonderbombs, I don't know, if kind of like a sadder Paramore, I guess really was the way
Oh,
to
okay. Yeah, yeah.
summarize that. And I was like, oh my god, this song just goes with it so well. And I asked him to, and he was like, dude, yes, please, I would be honored. And it's such a beautiful moment when they trust you like that with
Yeah,
something they made, because at the end of the day, that's their baby too, and that is something that they
yeah.
worked on, and it's so beautiful to have that trust.
It's very different than my original version that I produced on that. Like it's a very cha-cha. It was my first single, first music video I have under Lester Rey. Very to me, it's a very old song at this point. But Afro Cubano remixed it, gave it new life in 2017. I want to say, like I released that song in 2016, 2015. Afro Cubano gave it new life in 2017. I've been making a lot of music since then. But there's been this like resurgence in me to kind of just get back to this specific track, this song that kind of started it off for me, and kind of just
Yeah,
re-release it. So
I
I'm
love
excited for
it.
that. The biggest
Yeah.
song I have right now is between Jugueteo and the song called Santuario. Santuario was released in 2019 before the pandemic, and features a Chicago rapper by the name of Rick Wilson, who's been doing amazing things all over the United States and international. And I think that's the last song I have that might be. Let me see. I don't know if they're gonna play the last song, but I have 3 songs for y'all today.
One more song. One more song. One
Hmm.
more song, please.
Don Lumpster, oh hell yeah, Rick is my boy.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, if we get time to play it, that'd be great. If not,
Yeah.
if
No,
you're on YouTube,
we don't. I don't think we're on like a time crunch.
oh, okay.
But is that yeah? Oh yay! Thank you so much.
Buscando mi santuario. Buscando mi santuario. Buscando mi santuario. Santuario, una flor es bella separada, más bello el ramo completo, el árbol y la tierra, como el viento le pega. Petals falling to the ground, petals through the traffic, through the devil, falling to the ground, rebel, pushing for the crown, buscando mi santuario. Buscando mi santuario. Buscando mi santuario. Buscando santuario. Chasing the rising Gemini sun on the back of these young Capricorns. Born to have fun, is that and it's done. Is there more to life? No, there's none. Regreso al dolor, regreso a lo que conozco, regreso a el fondo, como la flor, como la flor, buscando mi santuario. Buscando mi santuario.
I love that. So I'm just new fan acquired. Yes.
No,
And I
thank
mean
you.
many, obviously, as we can see on the comments, but that I where did that come from? Like as in the
Santuario?
writing and stuff. Yeah.
Santuario was a song where I feel like in 2018, 2017, 2018, I wrote a collection of music that I packaged into an EP called Santuario. Um, that was more about just the idea of losing people that you're really close to, like um, through breakups and all the friends that you might lose that comes with that sometimes.
Yeah.
All the new spaces that you might be finding yourself into that are not the old spaces that you were once in. Um, maybe because of a friendship that has fallen apart or a relationship that has fallen apart. So the idea of the song is looking for your sanctuary. It's about self love, self care, kind of being there for yourself. Um, like even if I think I say like even if like um, the wind is going against you, like just kind of pushing through, talking about grit. I was like chasing the rising Gemini sun on the back of these young Capricorn lungs. I'm a rising Gemini. I'm a Capricorn sun. So it's just me like just pushing forward. But even the bridge talks about going back into dark thoughts. Um, and so like sometimes you find yourself kind of going back into these like regressive thoughts that kind of keep you thinking. And then the ending of the song is more of like pushing forward, um, exploring yourself, expressing yourself, um, and there is this like light theme of expressing your sexuality through your music, through your experiences, um, and that's kind of made more apparent at the very end of the song, at that outro. Um, and yeah, that the version I sang for Caguamas y Dramas doesn't have Rick Wilson in it. I have no idea where he's at right now. He might be in Chicago. He might be on tour. Wishing him nothing but love. But
Yes.
but if you go on YouTube and you check out the music video for that one, or Spotify, and you check out the song, the version that exists globally has Rick Wilson on it. The version I just performed for y'all for here with that verse doesn't exist on any recorded
Oh.
platform. It was the original verse I wrote for the song. I only perform it, so if you catch me live at a show, you'll see me perform that verse. But everywhere else
Love that.
that's media driven, it's Rick Wilson.
That is, I love that.
Yeah,
And it goes back to what you were talking about just that, that movement that kind of like you put in your music and the, different experiences that you give, depending on the way that people are
yeah, it's being
consuming.
flexible, having fun with it, just working with new people. It's always a good time.
And honestly, I'm a terrible lyric listener on the first time I hear a song. I don't know if that happens to you because I get lost in
Yeah.
the music. I need to listen to it
Mhm.
like 4 times before I can actually listen. But to be honest with you, that is exactly what I got by the vibe of the song. And it's such a beautiful song because honestly, that was, I think, quarantine for a lot of people, like
Yeah.
so much loss and so much, separation and pain and a lot of things happened or changed. And at least personally, I feel like this, last part of the year for me has been that, like trying to find that like safe space for myself and
Yeah.
with spirituality or these things, which as a Virgo is difficult. Now that we're talking, and now that I know we can talk about this about signs, as a Virgo it's hard, but we
I mean, I'm an Earth sign. I'm there with you.
You know what? Earth
Um,
signs are beautiful, but also why are we like this? Is the only thing I can say.
because we're realistic. We keep everything grounded. Nah.
It's true. It's true. I have an Aries moon, which means that I'm like, what is it, lawful chaotic or whatever it is,
Mhm.
because it's like a Virgo, which is so sad and so like this, and then you have like
Yeah.
just a wild fire sign. Anyway, to deep into that. But I want to open it up a little bit for through the comments. Start sending us questions if you have any questions for either of us or anything. And as a fire sign, it's good to get earthy sometimes. I agree. I
Yeah, I mean,
agree.
I'm here if anyone has any questions. I know I talked a lot more of like the background of what I do in music. I think I'm kind of like an open book when it comes to music business, music creation. Um, when did y'all start writing music? You may have already said, but I came in a bit late. All right. Lyrically, I've been practicing poetry, I guess would be the best way of putting it, since high school. I think if it wasn't for that time in high school where I got to really get into my feelings through the pen, I wouldn't be the artist that I am today. Um, Songwriting and poetry are very, very, very different. Different aims. Anthems definitely sound very different than
Yeah.
poetry. Um, but I think as time went on, um, I was informed by the poetry that I like carried with me during my high
Yeah.
school and early college years to really learn how to write songs. I started writing songs for Lester Rey, and I say it this way because I've gone through different stage names. Lester is my real name, if anyone's wondering. So, but when I came up with the concept of this Lester Rey Latin soul cha cha cha, I definitely want a call and response to be something that was pretty uh, dominant. So pena, like no vale la pena andar por andar, que no vale, que no vale la pena. You wouldn't really write that in a poem. I mean, you could. Poetry is also subjective and could be anything.
Yeah.
But that's not traditionally how you would write a
Yeah.
poem. But I think grabbing some of the poetry from high school and the freestyling that I did as a kid in church, because salsa music was always playing, and then the freestyling and hip hop that I'm doing later on, I'm just really informed by poetry. I think that's the best way. I don't have a specific day and time where I remember writing my first song.
Yeah, like writing the first one.
I was just writing so much poetry. You know what? Actually, if someone was to like press me on when was the first song I ever wrote, I think it was a Father's Day poem that turned into a reggaeton song and
Okay.
sang when I was like 16.
Wait, and you sang it in church? Is that the last part of that?
Yeah. I think
If
that
I
might be
could
the
have
first
one
song.
wish right now, I would wish to go to that day and listen to that. What's inside of your necklace?
So these two pieces were gifted to me by my girlfriend's or my fiance's mom. She came from Colombia and she came with a bunch of jewelry from Colombia that she used to run a jewelry store in the 90s. And she wanted to gift her daughter like all the jewelry that she kind of just had. It's all gold plated, 18 karat gold plated. And honestly, I don't care too much for religious symbolism. But I just love the way these two chains fit on me. Um, so this one looks like it could be like a virgin, like
Oh
Virgin de
yeah,
Guadalupe.
la
I
Virgencita.
I think that's what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's La Virgencita.
Yeah.
I don't pray to La Virgencita. I don't really follow any organized religion at this point, but I do like the symbolism of feminine deity.
Same.
This one is more my favorite. Let me see if I can just show y'all. I always wear it, so I wear it backwards, technically.
Oh.
Um, I wear it backwards because I really like what this looks like. And this is basically a bunch of
Pretty.
leaves. It's very tropical.
Yeah,
It's just gold leaves, basically.
that is so pretty.
But on the other side, it's the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, I
And
wasn't
I just
expecting the Statue of Liberty.
exactly I when I saw this, I thought it was so weird. I was like, why
I
is there
thought
a
at first I
Statue of
was like,
Liberty?
Jesus?
Yeah, I'm like, why is there a Statue
Jesus
of Liberty
esto?
on one side and then a
Leaves on
tropical
the
like
other side.
rain? It didn't make sense to me. But I was like, if I had to choose between the Statue of Liberty or the
Or
rainforest vibes,
leaves.
I'm gonna go with the tropical
I
vibes.
I would agree with that honestly.
So that was my thought process with this. There's no real
I
like
would
big sentimental value to them beyond the fact that they were gifted to me by um, my future mother-in-law, and they probably mean more to my fiance than they mean to me because they actually named the jewelry store in the 90s after their daughter. So I think it's very cute that she brought this jewelry here. Um, and yeah, we actually sell the jewelry here. I live in a live workspace, so it's a photo studio, a video studio, a salon. I'm a wardrobe stylist and a set designer too, so you can just
Oh,
stay in the creative field.
that's awesome. That is so interesting. We're gonna have to have a whole other conversation on that. But I have a question for you because this is something that I struggle. Well, not struggle, but anyway. Um, do you struggle more writing in either language, Spanish or English?
um, I feel like when I freestyle, I feel more comfortable freestyling in Spanish,
Okay.
but that could be for multiple reasons. I listen to more Spanish music. I listen to more reggaeton. I listen to more salsa. I listen to all that stuff growing up, so it's more ingrained.
It comes,
I,
yeah.
so yeah, the melodies and flows just come to me in Spanish. I can speak more intellectually and more intelligently in English. because I studied in the U.S. and so everything I know that's like grammar rules
Yeah.
is on English. um, so if I'm gonna write poetry and I'm gonna be super creative with words, it's gonna be English. That I
It's
find the
interesting.
most depth in
Yeah.
words. But when it comes to anthems and just making people feel good and freestyling on music, it just feels more natural to do it in Spanish.
And
And
Spanish
I
is
don't.
difficult to write in.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. The way I look at it, because I came at it from a hip hop angle.
Yeah.
If I'm freestyling in English, I don't have to worry about. I have to worry about A E I O U, and I have to worry about A E I O U, and I have to worry about sometimes Y or E,
Okay.
and then there's other words. In Spanish, it's A E I O U, and that's it. It's a lot easier
Huh.
to rhyme in Spanish, in my opinion.
That's an interesting way to put it because I always thought it was so much easier to kind of like rhyme in or at least make it seem like you're rhyming the right way in English, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because
I
it's just
feel.
such, it's less of like a marked language. I feel like
Yeah,
Spanish is like, it's más
maybe.
fuerte, más, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I like. I think Mike mentioned this earlier. I think it's how I was ingrained. I think I
Yeah.
can just flow. I could flow better in Spanish, or at least I think I can flow better in Spanish.
No, that's really
Because
cool. I'm
I'm
just
native.
curious because I don't get to meet a lot of bilingual musicians that make music in both languages. So it's just something that I'm curious about because
Yeah, this is why I talk about Gloria Estefan, and I forgot her name, but I feel like what she's doing is like paving the way for artists like Ali Uchis to exist. And so, like, I feel like if Kali Uchis exist and Gloria Stefan's been around, now you have all these pop stars at that level, making music that's in Spanglish. Then I'm very hopeful that there's a lane for myself to also continue touring, continue um, making the music that I make.
I
I don't have
definitely feel like
to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, sorry. Just that seeing the representation in music fields of people that are famous and stuff, it helps so much. It's so uplifting to start seeing more Latino people and stuff
Yeah.
doing music and doing music in Spanish and doing music
Yeah.
just closer to the roots instead of trying to like fit the specific certain like pop mold or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's
We're
it's
also in a global economy.
inspiring.
Yeah, it really is. But I also think that right now we're in a global era and we're in a dance era. So K Tronada and Bad Bunny and BTS don't have too much in common as far as language, but all three of them will make you dance.
That's very
And
true.
whether
They're all in
you
my dance playlist. The three you said are in my dance
yeah,
playlist.
and whether you know Korean or English or Spanish, it really doesn't matter too much.
Mhm.
I mean, the super fans are gonna connect with Bad Bunny. The super fans are gonna connect with K Tronada and BTS. And that's important to have. But we're definitely more in a dance era. I feel personally, everything changes. I feel
Yeah.
like when intellectual hip hop came about, language was very important, and I think we might return to the poetic depth of lyricism. But I
Yeah, let's
don't.
return to the emo times, please.
Yeah,
I,
I think we might be
um,
moving in that direction. So like we'll have the
we're all getting sad, so I don't.
yeah.
I feel like it would make sense after this couple of years if we all start producing a little bit of sadder music
I mean,
or
from Lil
deeper
Nas X
music.
to Willow Smith, even Bad Bunny had like a alternative rockish sounding element to his reggaeton. Everyone's trying to bring this like angst into their
Yeah.
music.
And I feel like Bad Bunny is really the one that has done it. Really, there's one song specifically, and I cannot remember the name of it, but there's a part where there's like that ball where like um motorcycles like turn inside of it, like just go around in
Oh,
it. Like I just
wow. I
remember
don't
that a
even
lot
think
from the
I've seen
music video. Oh my god, look, I do not remember the song. I will look for it and send it to you through Instagram. It's
it.
such a
Yeah.
good song because it barely sounds like reggaeton, but it still really sounds like him. It's
Yeah.
it's really interesting. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. There's a lot of new like rock stylings that are coming back into pop. And when the way I look at it is when pop music is starting to do something that paves the way for more pure sounds to also
Yeah.
exist. So like if you really like metal, you might not hear Bad Bunny doing metal, but now that Bad Bunny's doing alternative angst punk, you might actually hear famous metal bands at that
That.
level. I just feel like, yeah.
Well, because we had that at some point, right? Like not so long ago, like
Yeah,
what the 2000s, right? Like Paramore, all these bands were like the ones that were really kind of like leading that side, and then it just keeps shifting. I think that also what you were talking about, like the global thing, we're
mhm,
living in that time too of just mixing everything, right? Like fashion
true.
wise, music wise, everything is like, well, we've done all these things, but what if? Just hear me out. We mix them. Like, I feel like that is the time we're living in. My mom was telling me about like fashion and stuff, and I was like, Mom, unless you're literally in the fashion industry, it doesn't really matter anymore. Like, you can dress today like you were in the 50s, and you can dress tomorrow like the future or whatever. And it's just
True.
now we're just like that's fashion now. It's just finding what works for you, and
Yeah,
it works like that in music too, which is
mm,
really nice
it
because I
really
feel like
does.
it allows everyone to be more authentic if there's more openness to listening to
Yeah,
more
true.
diversity. There we go. Now it worked.
Hey.
Hey.
So, I definitely feel like diversity is a big theme in like almost everything I do. I have my dark angsty projects. I have my very tropical pena sounding songs, hip hop, reggaeton. I have the stuff that's just like very explicit, and I have the stuff that's very like happy. But also my fashions like that. Um, from skinny jeans to skirts to pink to black to future to 70s. I yeah, I definitely switch around a lot because I love it, but
Yeah,
I love expression.
same.
And sometimes as you get bigger and bigger, you start to realize that you have bigger opportunities ahead. They don't have too much time to try to understand who you are on paper.
Yeah.
So like for booking for you for a festival, so sometimes you have to like be one image for a little longer, just so that maybe certain festivals and features
Mm.
and shows will understand what you're trying to do. So that's like I think that's been my biggest struggle as a musician is trying to stick to a an image. Like I said, even this mustache didn't exist beyond 2020. Um, so I think I'll keep a lot of the switching it up elements alive. But as I move forward, I have noticed that it's kind of important to kind of keep an image a little longer because the moment you switch it again, people were just barely trying to catch this one, and you're
Mhm.
already moving. And yeah, exactly. What Ben said: if you move too fast, you can't be seen. And that right
Yeah, that's
there,
so true.
that's the best piece of
And why are you
advice.
so smart? You should be here.
Yeah,
Just
honestly,
you make the best questions and the
that
best
really
comments.
hit home. That hit home for me. So appreciate it, Ben. I always
Yeah.
need to remind myself that if I move too fast, I won't be seen. It's sometimes for me it's a little um you could be dragging on one song for a long time, promoting one song, doing the music for one song, performing that one song for a very long time. But even when it gets like if you have that itch to make new stuff or release new stuff, it's still gonna be new for somebody else if you keep doing the old stuff. And it's like
Mhm.
you can still make the new stuff, but it's the way the marketing side, you still have to
Yeah.
remain on the old stuff for a little longer, just so that you could push it. That's my opinion, but
Interesting.
also I love what Ben said as well.
No, and that makes so much sense too. Like even just in general, like people are easily confused. Really, I think
Yeah,
is what it is. Like if I see a musician that I'm not super, you know, I don't know, it's not Dua Lipa or whatever that's
yeah,
always in every screen. And you see you see one outfit one day, one color, kind of like vibe and stuff
yeah,
every single time. You're never gonna see an image and be like, oh, that's them. It's just
yeah,
yeah, no, that
yeah.
makes
And we're a very visual culture at this point, so it's just
mhm.
even if my music changes a little bit, as long as the image doesn't, it's kind of where I
That's
compromise.
interesting.
I'm like, I'll compromise with the image. I won't change the image as often as I enjoy, but the music
Yeah.
will always be like, I'm gonna have fun with my music.
I feel that though. Since I was really young, I used to just go through stages. Like my parents were so worried for a while that I was never gonna do my makeup and stuff. And then I went through like just this super like feminine part of myself. And then it's just so nice to be able to like go through this kind of parts and use clothing as a way to express yourself through those parts.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, again, Ben. Yeah,
Just Ben
Ben's
being
tokens of
amazing.
advice and wisdom have just made this entire show like what it is
I
today.
agree. I agree. It's such a
Um,
balance to stay oneself, being true to how fast we change while making a living. Yeah. Just wanted
yeah.
to read it for anyone who's not reading the comments because I thought it was really good. And does anybody have any questions so we can start as I say in my podcast, so we can start finishing this kawama and it doesn't get warm because nobody wants a warm kawama.
Yeah, actually,
But anyway,
I'm actually heading to a concert.
nice.
Yeah, I'm
That's
gonna go
exciting.
catch Jim. Do you know Jamila Woods, R&B singer?
I don't
Jamila,
know.
she has a concert at the Metro tonight, so in Chicago. So I'm gonna be. Let's see, doors open like at 8:30 or something like that. So it's 7:30 in Chicago right now. So
Yes.
I'm already dressed a little bit, so I'm just gonna head out to that concert
Yay.
after this concert.
That's exciting. I hope you have a great, great time. I am going to go potato in my beanbag for way longer than I probably should. And suddenly it'll be Monday. But it's the winter months. See, that's why we need to all get together and make some music so I can stop potatoing in my couch for so long.
True.
Goals.
Also,
Thank
Ben,
you
it's
so
great.
much. Oh, sorry. Yes, Ben.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say thank you. It was a pleasure learning from you as well. Especially the last piece of advice is like I almost want to write that down on a wall somewhere, just like have that as a
Do it. I
reminder.
have so many post-its with all of the like little phrases I find or people say, and I just put them
Yeah,
everywhere around my office.
that was just clutch. If you move too fast, you can't be seen. That's awesome.
I agree. Thank you, Ben.
But also thank you for having me on
Yes, I
Caguamas y
agree.
Dramas. Uh,
The
yeah.
cuddliest cat. So potatoing does mean God, did it freeze? Anyway, potatoing does mean a lot of cuddles from my cat, which is nice.
But I also wanted to thank you. So thank you for showing my music. Thank you for vibing with it. For enjoying like the conversation, for being there, just like the flow and everything. I really appreciate you for like just curating all this. I know it's not easy. I'm over here like more quieter than you because you're guiding the conversation, and so I understand, and I think you did great. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate you hosting this. I know, like I said, I know it's not easy.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun. I was so anxious and so nervous because that's just the person I am. Because I'm a Virgo. And the only chill in me is my liver rising. If no, I would just be a ball of just anxiety on fire. But this actually has been so enjoyable, so nice. I'm really hoping that everyone had as good of a time as I did today. And thank you so much for sharing space with us. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and your life with us. It's been really awesome and inspiring to hear your story and hear your inspirations and your music. So thank you.
Thank you. I always appreciate any platform that will hear the music, share the music. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you. Very humble.
Well, thank you. And I'd probably be at some point trying to get you on the podcast, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah, let me know.
It'd be
Yeah.
so fun. I'd be very enjoyable. Also, it's very casual, just like this one. And we
Okay.
do tell people to bring their beer if they want to.
Awesome. I'm looking at some of the other
So,
comments at the end.
oh yeah, I'm an Aries and a ball of anxiety. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I read, no
Yeah.
amount of guilt is gonna change the past, and no amount of anxiety is gonna change the future. I like read that today on Instagram. It was like inspirational.
That is, I like that.
I already do. Trust me. I
I
mean,
keep trying to be like, you know what? You can't just, what is that other one? Like, accept what you can't change and change what you can't accept. And it's just so hard when you're a Virgo and you want to control everything. And well, you can't, because life doesn't work like that.
True.
So thank you so much. I don't know if there's anything I should say at the end because apparently I'm unprepared. Uh-huh. But thank you so much. So much for everyone that has taken the time of their Friday to come spend some time with us. And thank you, Lester. It's been so great. And that's it. I think we are done. Finished.
All right, y'all.
Would you
Have a good
say
night or good morning if you're in a different time zone. And see ya.
Peace. On my face.